So some general stretches that can be very, very good for the lower back. We're going to start off here on the ground. We're going to lay back in here. And one that's a really good one is just the hip stretch. So you bring one leg down flat, chest out. You actually create a little space under your lower back, and you pull that leg in towards you. So we're pulling that leg in towards you. You've got the little space there. And as you pull the leg towards you, you're going to feel an urge to press your lower back into the ground. Don't do that. Keep that space, and that's going to force the stretch into the hip. So we want the hip to do the stretching there. So we've got this nice hip stretch here, and you're going to hold 20 or 30 seconds, and you're switch sides. You can do that a couple rounds sometimes, and that can actually create more looseness the more repetitions you do of that. Another one that can work as a variation on the hip is cross the ankle over the knee here, and you're going to reach through, grab the bottom leg, and pull it towards you. Now, you've got to still keep that arch in the lower back. So if you're really tight, you may not be able to do that. So what you need to try to do is keep the back straight, keep that space in the lower back, just hop this bottom foot in a little bit until you feel some stretch in this hip there. If you want, you can even add a little press with the hand to create some of that stretch as well. So that's going to help loosen up the hip forward motion there. And so if you are flexible enough, you can lift up, reach through the window with one hand, around the outside with the other, and you're going to pull that towards you as you stretch to get a deeper stretch in there. Another stretch that's really, really good is the quadricep stretch. So that one we're going to lay on our side, and we're going to grab a hold of kind of more by the ankle. As we're doing that, a lot of people will grab their shoe. I don't want the shoe as much, more by the ankle. So start with it in front so that way you make sure you keep the back straight, abs in tight, and then you're going to slowly push that knee back. All right. Now what happens here is a lot of times people start to arch their back a lot. Don't arch your back too much. A slight arch is fine, but don't arch it too much, and keep the abs pulling in, tighten the butt cheeks, and think of almost like you're trying to push your hips in front of that knee. So the abs are tight, pushing the hips in front of that knee. You can rest your head down if your neck is kind of tired of holding it up like this. So you got that stretch, and then do both sides. The hamstring stretch I really like for lower back. A lot of times it's actually just this laying down one. So you can do some standing hamstring, but the thing about the laying down one is you can really focus on making sure this back stays straight, and you get as much challenge as you can handle at this moment. So you're going to pull the toes back, so you get a little bit of calf stretch with it also, pointing the heel up towards the ceiling, and you're drawing that leg back towards you, pulling it back towards you here. And again, as you're doing that, keep some space under your lower back. I often tell people, imagine there's a little choo-choo train for ants, and it's chugging along through the tunnel under your lower back. So for these stretches, you want to have a space under there, especially for those of us with lower back pain. All right, so that's a really good one here. Another couple, this one you can be very, very careful with, is a child's pose, but for some people it can really provide some nice relief there. Put your hands out in front, and then you're going to shift back. So you're just getting a little bit of stretch to the shoulders, and you get this gentle rounding in the back. All right, so we're decompressed here. We're not loaded. I'm not supporting myself like this. I'm actually supporting myself on my hands as I do that, so it is fairly low pressure on the back and shifting this way. If you have a disc issue, this may not be a good stretch for you, because it may be putting a little more pressure back in there. So you may have to work on some of the other ones first and get yourself more solid before you think about adding that one in. Another stretch, particularly designed for people with a bulging herniated disc, there is the Mackenzie stretch. That's used a lot, and people will kind of lay out here, get themselves situated, and you come up onto elbows, and it starts to create an arch in the back. And so that arch in the back, if you have a bulge, most bulges go out the back, and sometimes they put pressure on nerves and things like that. You get numbness, shooting pain down the leg, those types of things, or just even local pain. And so this, really what it creates is an opportunity for that bulge out of the back. So it was caused usually by the back bending this way, by rounding. And so if we bend it the other way, we create a place for kind of the bulge to kind of almost push back into there, back into where it's supposed to be. And so the theory of that one is that it can help the bulge kind of ease back in, take pressure off the nerves if there's any pressure there, and maybe restore the disc a little bit. So this one can provide a lot of relief for certain people. So again, none of these should be used exclusively without any further guidance or talking with a doctor or physical therapist there. To take this stretch a little bit more, you can come to hands and press up a little bit more with it. I wouldn't go to that one until you've tested it on the elbows first, though. Made sure that not that it works just that day, but that the next day it feels okay too. Some of these things that you do may not necessarily hurt you that day as much as you start noticing the next day. So keeping a journal of the things you're doing and what you added can help you narrow down what causes the pain. So those are some general stretches that can help out the lower back. Again, you notice there was a lot of leg stretches in there and a couple of just gentle lower back. So Jeremy Burnett saying, have fun, be safe.